What's good, Commanders fans? Training camp day 5. Gonna recap it here like we always do. A couple of clips in the beginning, and we'll do some play-by-play. Shout out to my guy Pedro. He was at Commanders training camp today. It was another packed house, another long line wrapped around the facility. So we're gonna do some play-by-play. He was there. He tweeted out some things that he saw and a couple of clips that he put up. So we're gonna talk about that today too. So shout out to my guy Pedro for sure. But I heard it was a light practice today. It didn't go for long. I did see the updates for tweets stopped around like 11:30 or something like that. I'm sorry, not 11:30. Practice starts at 9 every day. Practice started at 9 and it stopped. I saw like play-by-play tweets stopped around like 10:30 or something, like really like 10:20. But I've heard from everybody that it was more of a light practice. Today was the first practice with pads. It was intense from what I heard as well, the physicality and whatnot. But and then some people said it was light for the most part at the same time. So I mean, I know that's kind of conflicting, confusing things, but maybe there were times that it was physical and whatnot. You guys let me know if you guys were there. Also, there was a comment that I did want to read from yesterday. I know Marcus Mariota has been awful for the most part, but somebody said yesterday that he was the better of the two. So I wouldn't take too much stock in that. He was the better. He had the better day between him and Jaden Daniels, but you know, I wouldn't take too much stock into it. I'm trying to find the comment here, and that Ben Sinnott has not been looking good so far. He's really struggled so far. I mean, but like I said, it's still very early. Shout out to Shaylin Patel. Here it is. Shaylin Patel 305 yesterday in my video. He says, I was at training camp today. He said, I can say that Daniel struggled a lot. Only really hit flat routes in 11 versus 11. Couple of low throws and passes behind the receiver. Marcus Mariota ran a lot with the ones and played well today, besides the tipped interception. Hopefully Daniel settles in and gets his timing down with the receivers. So, like I said, it's still very early. I mean, a lot of accounts have said that Jaden Daniels is far ahead of Marcus Mariota. I guess the day yesterday, it was different, but for the most part, Mariota has been really bad throwing footballs into the dirt and whatnot. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. I think Jaden Daniels will be fine. I think eventually he will be named the starter. Pedro also said that the rotation right now has been Jaden running with the ones. He'll do one snap with the ones, and then Marcus Mariota will do 2 snaps, and then they'll take him out, and then they'll put Jaden back in, and then they'll put, after one snap, they'll take one snap with the first team. They'll put Marcus Mariota back in for 2 snaps, and then they'll just keep doing the same thing. So Pedro was saying that he doesn't really like that kind of, you know, Jaden getting yanked out, not really getting comfortable or in a rhythm and whatnot. So that's what Dan Quinn is doing right now with Cliff Kingsbury. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I think eventually they'll name Jaden Daniels the starter. I mean, they're the franchise is really, we know what it is. Like, the franchise is really gonna go as far as the number 2 pick of the draft and Jaden Daniels goes. I mean, that's just what it is. We gotta hit on the quarterback position. You know, we just have to. And I think we will. I think Jaden definitely has a really good chance to be a franchise quarterback. For sure. All right, so let's get to the play-by-play here. Zach Selby starting the day off with kickoff returns. Guys catching kicks were Austin Eckler, Damiere Byrd, Mikey Sainristil, Olamide Zaccheaus, Davion Davis, Dax Milne, Kaz Allen, Jahan Dotson, Jameson Crowder, and Emmanuel Forbes. So the only guy that I really think that stands out the most is Jameson Crowder. And then other than that, Eckler can do it, but you kind of don't really want him back there doing it. Damiere Byrd, if he makes a roster, sure. Mikey Sainristil, I think he can do it, but you know, we'd rather him just stick at the nickel corner position and just focus on that. Casimir Allen, I don't think he'll make the roster. Dax Milne, we know, doesn't provide much as far as, like, you know, explosiveness. And then Emmanuel Forbes, I don't think he'll do it, but I think it will be Jameson Crowder. If I had to bet who else would do it, maybe Zaccheaus, maybe Zaccheaus, and maybe Damiere Byrd. Those are the 2 guys I would think if they do make the roster. All right. So like I said, not a lot of play-by-play, but just looking at the offensive line, Andrew Wiley was back at right tackle, and Brandon Coleman was starting at left tackle. So that is something that stands out there. The 3rd-round pick, the rookie, will he start at left tackle? It is a battle between him and Cornelius Lucas. So let's see if tomorrow Cornelius Lucas starts at left tackle. Let's see if they change it, interchange it now consistently. I think this is 2 days in a row where Brandon Coleman has started at left tackle. Still very early in the process, so there's a lot of potential there. He did a good job against Frankie Louvu, I heard. He's done a good job against Jamin Davis when he's played at edge. So Brandon Coleman's in the footwork, him mirroring against Frankie Louvu as well. So Brandon Coleman, we've heard nothing but good things so far in the first 5 days of training camp. Good footwork as well from Brandon Coleman starting off. So Zach Selby also says, nice job by Brandon Coleman sealing off his blocker, allowing Brian Robinson a lane for a touchdown. So that's good there too. Seeing Brandon Coleman get nasty in the run game. Marcus Mariota also hit Olamide Zaccheaus on a slant for a touchdown. Olamide Zaccheaus is going to make the roster. Like, I think he's the lock to make the roster. I think they're going to keep 6 guys. I think he's one of the locks to make it. Also, Jamison Crowder wraps up the 2-point conversion drill with a wide open touchdown pass from Jeff Driscoll. So Jeff Driscoll getting in the mix there with a 2-point conversion pass to Jamison Crowder. Pedro also said Cleveland Farrell getting some reps with the ones. Linnell also said that Dorrance Armstrong was the starting defensive end, and Cleveland Farrell was the other guy on the other side with the ones. I know we got Dante Fowler, but Dante Fowler's more of a rotational pass rusher, so he may not start. It may be Cleveland Farrell starting on the other side of Dorrance. And then you got Dante Fowler. I guess Jamin Davis, if he makes the roster, he'll be in the mix there. You got KJ Henry still on the roster. What's the other guy who played really well in preseason? Andre Jones is still on the roster. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anybody else at the defensive end position. Cleveland Farrell, Dante Fowler, Dorrance, and I think those are all the other guys, Andre Jones and whatnot, and KJ Henry. So I think that's the roster right there. Let me look at the depth chart real quick. I think that's going to be our defensive end rotation, but I'm just looking at the depth chart real quick. Just I don't want to forget anybody there. I know F.A. Albada, but he's injured. So, yeah, that's basically it at the defensive. Javonte John Baptiste, who they drafted in the 7th round. So, but all right, let's get back to the play-by-play. Jaden Daniels did start with the ones from the jump today per Chris Russell. 2-point conversions and on 11 on 11. Linnell also said local cat Keandre Jones blowing up a play on a blitz. Next play making a stop on the edge. So shout out to Keandre Jones. Linnell also says Brandon Coleman with a monster block versus Cleveland Farrell, putting him down after Farrell tried to run the hoop. So Brandon Coleman, hey, he's making some noise, man. I like to hear that because I'm not gonna say I'm skeptical of what they did at left tackle because I'm not gonna say I wanted them to go and get a big name like David Bakhtiari or draft a first-round left tackle. They weren't able to do that because they weren't able to trade back up in the first round. But if they can get a steal in Brandon Coleman in the 3rd round, he's starting and making plays like that against a guy who has started in the league like Cleveland Farrell, that brings some optimism. So, and then Cornelius Lucas, he's been known as a backup swing tackle. So it's hard to be, super optimistic. But if Brandon Coleman's doing things like that, then my optimism will definitely go up for sure. Derek Forrest was running with the 3s per Pedro. So that is, and Derek Forrest had a rough injury last year. So it's kind of like, is he still kind of, I know he's basically recovered from injury, but why is he running with the 3s? I know it's still early. I know Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin are if the game started today, if week 1 started tomorrow, those would be the 2 starting safeties from what everybody has said. So it is intriguing to see Derek Forrest, who was the top five safety per PFF. Him and Cam Curl that one year where they were a really good dynamic duo. So to see that, it is intriguing. It is intriguing. So it's something to keep our eyes on for sure. I think Derek Forrest will make the roster, but it's something to keep our eyes on for sure. Jay Daniels had a completion to Kaz Allen on a 10-yard hook over the middle. Good zip per Linnell. So Kaz Allen's been having a good camp so far. Let's see if it translates to the preseason games for Kaz Allen, if he can hold on to the football. Mitch Tischler also said Brandon Coleman getting your first team reps at left tackle with Wiley back at the right seems an important distinction for the rookie's first day in pass. So Andrew Wiley was back on the field. Nicky Javala said he's barely been playing. He did say he had tightness and that he would be back today. So let's keep an eye on Andrew Wiley. Like I said, he had an up and down year last year. He had an up and down year the year before with the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl. So it's not like Andrew Wiley has been an elite right tackle. But it's another thing to monitor there with Andrew Wiley for sure. Andre Jones getting his hands up and the line of scrimmage, forcing an incompletion. And Andre Jones had a really good preseason last year. Let's see if he can make an impact in the games this year. Terry with a drop on an off-schedule throw from Daniels alongside. Great throw from Jay Daniels. So Terry's just got to get used to playing with Jaden Daniels. They'll get on the same page because Jaden Daniels is going to be moving around a lot. So I guess he just has to get the chemistry with Jaden Daniels. So I'm not worried about a drop from Terry McLaurin. Jaden Daniels gets a touchdown on a catch and run from Olamide Zaccheaus. Like I said, Olamide Zaccheaus is making plays, man. He's going to make the roster. I think he's a 4th or 5th option for sure, but he's going to make the roster. I think he's going to make the roster. I heard Deron Payne was making plays. Pedro said that. Linnell said that as well. Jaden Daniels threw a wide open nice pass to Austin Eckler for a touchdown. So that's a good play there. Ben Sinnott with another drop per Linnell. Keandre Jones in coverage. I don't know what's going on with Ben Sinnott, having hands like a snake. I know it's early. Maybe he has some rookie nerves or whatever, but he's got to get it together because they need him to play. Like, we need somebody with more talent, like John Bates, but we need more receiving threats. We need more receiving. We need guys that can move the chains at the tight end position. That's what we're hoping that Ben Sinnott can do. So if he can get some of these rookie jitters out of his system, get the bad stuff out of his system now, I guess this is the time to do it. All right. Anything else that stood out? Pedro said that Jordan McGee looked pretty good today. He had some nice tackles in the run game. So Jordan McGee's going to get playing time. He might surpass Jamin Davis, this year. I mean, that's kind of what it sounded like, to be honest with you right now. So we'll see what goes on with that. Sam Harden with a dime to Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder's going to make the roster, and Sam Hartman making a play per Pedro as well. So that's good as well. And I think that's really it for today. Derek Forrest running with the threes. Brandon Coleman starting at left tackle. Ben Sinnott stock dropping, but he's a rookie, so we got to give him some time. Let him get better and whatnot. So I wouldn't take too much stock in him dropping passes. Not something we want to see or hear, but he did make a nice catch yesterday. But Ben Sinnott, was he a second round pick, right? Second or third round pick? I think he was a second round pick. Let me make sure. I don't know why I'm just kind of getting my stuff mixed up today, but I'm pretty sure he was. I'm looking it up to make sure. He was a second round pick, 40-inch vertical, which is insane. That just shows how athletic he is. He was a second round pick. He was a second round pick 53. So we need him to step up from the jump. We do need him to develop a little bit quicker than the normal second round pick. But so we need him to not have hands like a snake for sure. But all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Shout out to my guy Pedro for sure, giving out some good insight, some good information. Like I said, I'm gonna try my best to get to one of the practices, and I gotta check and see if the tickets are sold out or not. So all right, you guys let me know what you guys think about everything. And once again, Brandon Coleman starting at left tackle. Jane Daniels had a solid day, and Derek Forrest running with the three. Joe McGee had a good day. Deron Payne had a good day. He's been making plays. And I think that's really about it for today. I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. Hell to the Commanders. Peace. Tyler Owens did have an interception. I didn't talk about that yesterday. Tyler Owens had an interception. So that is good for him, the athletic freak. All right, guys. Hell to the Commanders. Peace.